Amen. So, God had touched my life. I was listening to one of this minister in front of our house, and I was so high on drugs. And I was doing this on our window, and I was listening to him preaching, and he suddenly said, there's a guy here who wants to be, that God had called him to preach His word one day. And I told myself, maybe my mom had talked to this preacher and said, hey, I have a son who is a drug addict, and I want you to say this. That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. Make the long story short, God brought me from darkness to light. There's nothing special in me that I would be standing here over you and preach to you. It's not because I am qualified. It's not because I deserve to be here. But it's all about grace. Now the question is, that's preaching. That's being saved. But people, don't you know, people of God, that ever since we were born, God had been so gracious to all of us. Amen. Don't you know that being born alone is one of the greatest privilege, the greatest grace that we who are living right now is experiencing? Who works in medical field here? Is there somebody who works in the medical field? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I just like to stand corrected. I have learned, this is a little bit mature, that in every intercourse, there is an amount of 5 million to 150 million sperms being transferred from the male to the female in 1 millimeter of that thing. Am I correct or? Okay. It's roughly about around that range, 5 million to 100 million. Now think of this. When my mom and my dad did something, when my mom and my dad made me, there were 100 million cells. But out of the 100 million cells, only one was given the opportunity and the privilege to be born. And to be born in this, in this cruel world, though it's not so much nice right now, but still being born and given the chance to breathe the air and being tanned by the hot weather of Las Vegas, it's awesome. That's grace. Amen. I want you to know, people of God, that what you have now is grace from God. Amen. Who would have thought? There were only two options that I had when I dived into drug addiction. One is penitentiary, and the other one, which most likely is the result of a continuous life and exposure to drugs, is cemetery. Penitentiary and cemetery. Right? And I don't have a choice. There's no other choice than these two. But come to think of how I ended up here and speaking to you guys, I don't know, and I could not really explain to you what my heart wants to tell you, but all I'm saying is that what kind of problems you have right now, you may have a lot of difficulties in life, you may be experiencing some hardships in life, but mind you, people are so focused on the things that they have, that they experience, and miss the things that God has given them through grace. Amen. Let me give you another example. I work also as, I have an a job in Las Vegas. I work for a pharmacy that makes drugs. So see? But this time, it's legal drugs. God is so awesome. So, and we make all kinds of drugs. From cancer, from tuberculosis, to making yourself young. We have a big account of doctors that works for Hollywood stars, and they would always order about 5,000 per order just to make them look young. And according to one survey, last year alone, the beauty products they had sold about 10 billion just for that. Now, the reason I brought this up, it's because when you look at ourselves, when you go and face the mirror, what we fail sometimes is that we fail to see the beauty that is in us, and we are so more focused on the things that needs to be enhanced. That needs to be enhanced. But come to think of this, if you would post yourself and post it with all the pictures of the people, 6 billion pictures around the world, what makes you so special is that you're the only one that looks like that.
That's right. You need to be told your ancestors.
Amen. No one can be compared to you. God had made you so special that no other person looks like you. That's a blessing. Amen. Who has kids? Who have kids here? I have 2. Now, raising kids in Las Vegas, that's tough. How could you raise up a godly kid in an environment where, I'm not going to invite you going to Vegas just to prove what I'm saying. In the taxis, the taxis, they, all the people that wants to promote their products, they would just create a big picture. And here